What is up, everybody? This is Cody, aka DFS Prodigy, coming to you live, breaking down this upcoming DraftKings 12-game slate for Sunday, week 2. Before we get always hit the like button for me, though, definitely subscribe. And I have my man Dustin Shelton on. How's it going, my man?
Doing good, my dude. How are you doing?
Another day. I'm excited for Thursday night football for sure. It's gonna be a great game.
I
Um,
think I think it's gonna be a good game too.
I think so. But we have this, like I said, the 12-game slate. We're gonna kick it off game by game, starting off with Green Bay. Already starting off with injuries. So, how do you feel about Aaron Jones with his injury?
It seems to me that it's 50-50 truly. From everything that I've seen and read about through the week, that's one to definitely keep your eye on. If he's out, then I do think AJ Dillon's going to be very, very popular against the Atlanta run defense. And let's see, he got 13 attempts last game, but Jones is mainly in for passing, so that little bit of that work could go to Dillon. But it seems like to me, Christian Watson might also be back.
That's the biggest thing is obviously we know the running back tandem with Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon, they're always going to be splitting carries. But at 5'9", they already kind of priced him up for if Aaron Jones is out. So I don't mind that in the mid range. But going to the quarterback spot, Jordan Love, I love him here, quote unquote. 5.5
Mhm.
is too cheap. We saw him have confidence. We saw him for 27 attempts last game, 3 touchdowns. I like that a ton. To pair him with a guy also kind of skipping over receivers, I don't mind going to Luke Musgrave at 3-2 once again. Three receptions and 4 targets. The confidence is there also in the rookie. At 3-2, I don't mind that as a punt play. How do you feel about Musgrave before we go to receivers?
Good punt play as well. He seems like he has the trust of Jordan Love. Jordan Love looked really, really sharp. That's one thing I like. That's one of the benefits of sitting on the bench for a couple of years. You come in, you see the game, and you pick up things you wouldn't have seen as a rookie. So he seems like he likes going to Musgrave. And if Watson were to miss and Dobbs is still banged up, then Musgrave will be a steal at 3-2.
For sure. If Watson is in at 5'9", I'm gonna fade him more than likely just because I don't know what the snap count's gonna look like, especially with the hamstring. We know in NFL with hammies that it's definitely hit or miss. Romeo Dobbs also at 4'8" with his hamstring. I mean, he ended up playing. And it worked out well for you if you did play him at limited ownership with 2 TDs and for only 26 yards. But kind of going to the rookie and Reed. I don't mind going to Jaden Reed if both guys are out. And if Christian Watson's out once again and Romeo Dobbs healthy, I don't mind going to Reed either. A 3-4 is a punt play. But other than that, anybody else in this team that you like, man?
Their defense. I like their defense a lot this week. I do not trust the Atlanta offense. I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but I think we're in agreement, man. I don't like. I know they beat Carolina, but I'm not a big Desmond Ritter guy. I'm not. They like to run the ball, and it don't seem like they care to pass it.
Right. So with that, Desmond Ritter on the Falcons, I'm not getting to him at 5,000. I've already seen people are trying to get Taylor Heineke to play. Again, maybe it's a different offense if Heineke does play, but this running game, Tyler Algier, I talked about him last week. 15 attempts, 75 yards, 2 TDs. He went off. But again, we don't know what the workload is going to be. Bijan, I mean, he looked fantastic on the field with just at 20 fantasy points for 8,000. You're going to kind of need more though. You're going to kind of need that 100-yard game. What do you think about the running game on this team?
They have a really solid running game. They come from Arthur Smith, who was with Tennessee back when Derrick Henry was just running over people left and right. And to show how much they trust this running game, they didn't even activate Cordero Patterson, who was probably one of their best players last year. That shows the confidence they have in their running game. They're like, well, this guy's a Pro Bowler. We don't need him to play because we got two guys that we think that are better that's in front of them. But like you said, Ben, Bijan is 7'9". Man, he's the Packers defense is a different animal than the Carolina Panthers defense. Them boys can play over there in Green Bay.
Most definitely, man. Going to the receivers, Drake London. I mean, we seen this all over Twitter now about the talks of the fantasy with what Smith said about Drake London. I'm fading him at 5,000. I'm fading Kyle Pitts also kind of getting ahead, but I'm fading Kyle Pitts at 4-2. The man just needs a different team. This is not working out well for him whatsoever. I'm not going to Hollins. I'm not going to Hodge. I'm not really going to any of the receiving options. What about you?
Nope, I'm with you on that one. I think truly this team would be. I would play an Atlanta receiver if Heineke was the quarterback.
Agreed.
I really think that if Ritter starts struggling, I think Heineke will be in within about 2-3 weeks.
I can see it happening. I can definitely see it happening. Going to Las Vegas and Buffalo. So
Mhm.
starting off in Las Vegas, Jimmy G. I'm not playing him either. Um, we saw this against Denver, 16 fantasy points, same price tag as this week. I'm not really getting to him. Are you getting to Jimmy G at all?
No, I'm not really interested in Jimmy G. There's too many other guys at his price that I like that I feel have more potential about. The only way you can have Jimmy G is if you feel Adams is going to have a monster game. And if you just think he's going to have a pedestrian game, then Jimmy G is not really going to put up the numbers that warrant his price tag.
Right. I'm going to Josh Jacobs. I liked him last week. I like him once again. He
Mhm.
went down. I don't mind him against Buffalo at least. We had 19 attempts. I think this is a good price tag at 7-1. What do you think about Jacobs?
I 100% agree with you. He's getting the workload. He ran to the buzzsaw of the Denver Broncos defensive line. Buffalo showed you Monday night they can't stop a run. Brees Hall went off on them, and I
Literally.
think Josh Jacobs is going to do the exact same thing. I love Josh Jacobs this week.
He's cheap at 7-1 in the mid range.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of on the receivers and tight ends. Jacoby Myers is the big question mark with the concussion. Um, if he's out, do you think Renfro is going to see run?
He'll see run, but I gotta. And at 3,900, that's not a bad little pump play. If Myers is up, the reason Myers gets a lot of run is because this is Josh McDaniels' offense. Evidently, Hunter Renfro is not clicking with this Josh McDaniels' offense.
Not at all.
And that's the only reason Myers got down there because if McDaniels wasn't the head coach at Vegas, Myers would have stayed in New England. He knows the offense better than Renfro.
We're just waiting for the moment to where when Tucker is active, I'm gonna love playing him whenever he is active. At three, I mean, like I said, the time is gonna come whenever Tucker does, if Renfro even gets traded. Also, I know he's a possible trade candidate that people are looking at.
Okay. Yeah, Renfro could help out a wide receiver needy team.
Kansas
You know,
City,
there's teams out there like the Chiefs would love to have Renfro.
Kansas City. Austin Hooper, I'm not playing him. I'd much rather go to other guys. Not really for me.
No,
Uh,
thank
not to say I'm not really looking at that. On the Buffalo side, though, I think this is a good bounce back spot for Mr. Josh Allen at 7-9.
you.
Um,
Yeah.
the rushing games there, we saw him run.
Mhm.
At 7-9, I think that's too cheap for him. This is a great bounce back spot, in my opinion.
I 100% agree with you. I don't like Vegas's defense at all. It's also, I think, a bounce back spot for Devontae Adams. No, we didn't talk about him when we were on the Vegas
Yeah.
side. I like Devontae this week, too. If Gary Wilson can get some yards with Zach Wilson as his quarterback, I think Devontae would do just fine. But a good bounce back spot for Josh Allen. I do like him against this poor Raiders defense.
I'm also liking James Cook at 6-1.
Mm-hmm.
12 attempts worked for me. So I'm in the receiving option also. I think this is a good bounce back spot for him as well at 6-1.
Definitely showed one of the players that showed the most improvement from last year to this year. Last year, he was kind of a disappointment as a first round pick. I know he was playing behind Singletary, but he looks so much better Monday. You could definitely tell he's much more comfortable in the NFL in his second year.
And then having only Damian Harris see one snap, I mean, like I said, I think the confidence is there for James Cook with his offense.
Oh yeah,
To the tight ends, Dawson Knox, Dalton Kincaid. I like both. Both are way too cheap in my opinion. I like Kincaid a ton. Have 4 or 3-3.
I think when Kincaid finally, I still think as a rookie, Kincaid is still not 100%. What's the what I'm looking for? I think he's still not 100% like there yet, knowing the offense and figuring out there's between college or pros. But when he clicks, he's going to be tight end number one without a shadow of a doubt. And he's going to win a lot of people some money because he's that talented. I like him. It's just he just needs to it just needs to click in his head. I don't think he's there yet because it's only been one game, but Once he does, man, he is going to be a monster.
What do you think about Stephon Diggs at 8,000?
I like Diggs. A little recency bias might. I'm not against if it's a superstar player has a good game and play him the next week because people will be like, well, it's one great game. He ain't gonna do the same thing next week. I'm like, I've been watching football for 20 years. I've seen it happen numerous times. So I like Diggs in that spot. I think people are gonna shy away from him because he had such a big night Monday night.
Gabe Davis, 5'8".
No,
I'm not really getting to him.
no. I don't even know why he's the second wide receiver. I don't think he's that good.
What do you think about
Yeah,
Hardy?
I like Hardy. Hardy was in my showdown lineup.
Deontay
It,
Harris, also, quote unquote.
yeah.
His
Dante.
name.
Funny story. He changed his last name because that was his stepfather's last name.
Really?
Yep.
Dang. That's cheap at 3-3. I mean, literally, what was it like the first couple plays? He already got his both his targets.
Yeah, but then he didn't see much of the field for the rest of the night. He was on there. He had one of Josh Allen's interceptions was a bomb to him.
I
So
think they like him over Shakir. Yeah,
Shakir's just too young.
not wrong. Going to Baltimore. So Lamar Jackson, 7-7. I think this is a great bounce back spot, especially for his rushing ability. Um, 22 attempts against Houston. I think that was a fluke game also. With those two fumbles at least. I like him at 7-7.
I do too. Baltimore's not Baltimore. Cincinnati's secondary is not very good. Remember, they lost both safeties from last year. Jesse Bates went to Atlanta, and Von Bell went to Carolina. So they're playing two new guys back there, and you can definitely tell they had their hands full with the Browns receivers last week.
Yeah, I like him a ton. Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
The running back carousel. Melvin Gordon, I believe he's going to be active. I think they already promoted him. Yeah, from the practice squad. I think he's still. I think he's washed. But again, the injury to J.K. Dobbins, that was not great. I mean, that was pretty upsetting. The
It
day
is.
it's. I feel bad for him. Like I said, I mean, he was having a monster game already.
I think they. I think if I were them, I'd be one of the teams trying to trade for Jonathan Taylor. But going back to Lamar, with Dobbins being out and eliminates the running threat, it's going to be in Lamar's hands. He's probably going to be asked to run the ball more because I don't trust Gus Edwards, Justice Hill, or Melvin Gordon. It's going to be in his hands to probably throw it more or get the yards with his feet.
If I had to pick out of this like running back tandems, I would pick Justice Hill at 4-9.
But the thing is, with their price point, I think their ceiling is maybe you get into the end zone once and 50 yards, maybe you lucky get 60. Okay, that's cool. That's like 11, 12 points, maybe.
If I
That's
had to
their
pick, if I had to pick, it would be Justice Hill.
yeah. That's why I'm like. That's why if I had to pick, I'd probably say Gus because I think he's more talented than Justice Hill. But their ceiling's just so low to me. They would have to have a monster career day just to get your money back on their price.
I got you. Tight ends. Mark Andrews at 6'3". If he's fully healthy, I like it at 6'3".
I do too. And it's hard to fade Mark Andrew. He's one of the best tight ends in the league. He's also underrated too when you think about it because it's always Kelsey. It's Kittle. Andrews can ball, man. Especially and now since Dobbins is out, I think Lamar's going to be probably has to throw it more. And Andrews is one of his favorite targets because he trusts him. All these receivers are either third year, first year of Lamar, or rookies.
I don't mind going back to the well with Zay Flowers. Lamar Jackson seemed to love him a ton at
Mm-hmm.
5,000. I wouldn't mind clicking Bateman either. If I had to pick, it would be Zay Flowers over Bateman. But again, I don't mind going to either one.
It seemed like when Dobbins went out, he went to Flowers.
With the Flowers a ton.
Mm-hmm.
Going to Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
So Joe Burrow, 6,900. Way too cheap.
Yep,
Bounce back spot in my opinion.
I agree. Joe Burrow, and he has a history torching the Ravens too.
I think this is a great bounce back spot for him at 6'9".
Absolutely. I do
The,
worry about his offensive line though.
yeah, that is worrisome, but I think this is a better matchup for him. I mean, like I said, if we saw what CJ Stroud was able to do against
Mhm.
Baltimore. I think Joe Burrow can easily do way better than he can.
1000% agree with you.
Joe Mixon, 13 attempts. Saw him in the backfield also, 5 targets.
Yeah, man. Joe Mixon is really chalky this week. I mean, I can't really figure that one out. I know he's good and everything, but he's getting like 20% ownership from from what I'm reading. And the Baltimore proved one thing, man. Baltimore's still pretty good against the run. So, my opinion, I Mixon's probably not on my list. So, that's just my opinion. Especially at the high ownership that he's getting, I think I don't even think it's a risky fade in my opinion.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I don't mind it at 6'5". I think there's better options in that price range. Two receivers, Jamar Chase, 7'9". I don't mind going right back to the well with him.
I agree.
T. Higgins, that was awful. But he
Yeah,
got the targets. He got the targets. That's the main thing. There's 8
and he's
targets.
and he's trying to get a contract too. So he wants to go out there and ball out either for the Bengals or for any other team that wants him.
Yeah, like I said, I don't mind going to him at 6'4", just based off the targets. Irv Smith, I'm much rather go to other tight ends in the price range,
I
honestly.
love I love Irv Smith. I think he's great for this offense, but man, he is so inconsistent.
Yeah, that's what worries me. So
But then one thing that worries me about Cincinnati, this could be the Tyler Boyd game.
at 3'8".
Yeah, where you're so excited about Chase and Higgins, and Tyler Boyd comes out there, 5 catches, 76 yards, 2 touchdowns.
I could see it.
I can see it too, and it worries me.
Going to Seattle. Going with Geno Smith at 5'9". Think this is a great bounce back spot for him also. I was high on him in the offseason. I think I don't mind going to him at 5'9".
I would probably look somewhere else. His offensive line injuries worry me. The Chiefs' offensive line is way better than the Seahawks' offensive line, and they could not maintain Detroit's front line.
Yeah,
That worries me about Gino.
I mean, like you said, I think just for a dart throw with him and Metcalf, I wouldn't mind it.
Uh, you could Metcalf. I could see. I will say though, Tariq Woolen is not a bad. Not Tariq Woolen. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the other side. My bad. Yeah, that Lions secondary is improved, but I can see Metcalf having a pretty good game. And he's watching his temper there. He pulls that little blindside hit thing. He's going to be sitting some games.
Right. Um, Kenneth Walker, again, I know the line's kind of messy, but a five,
Yeah,
well, I mean, I don't mind going to him either. It's cheap.
he he's okay. Like I said, it's just because he's young. I'm not really holding it against him. Little hit and miss, decent game, great game, then back to decent. Um, I like the offensive line just worries me, man. Especially with the running game because they shut down Cam Akers.
Are you going to any tight ends with Disley or Fant?
No, I don't like the tight ends for the Seahawks.
Yeah,
I haven't seen neither one of them make a play, and I mean not just this year, last year.
yeah, I'm not going to any tight ends.
Nope.
Um, to Detroit, the team that shocked the world. Jared
Yeah,
Goff, 6'2". What do you think?
I like Jared Goff this week. I think Seattle's secondary minus Tariq Woolen is not very good. And I don't know if Jamal Adams is playing or not. I don't think so because I haven't seen anything about him this week. So, yeah, I'm not a big believer of the Seahawks defense. Stafford with Puka Nakua and Tutu Atwell, they balled, man. Brown's better. Josh Reynolds is better. They Tariq Woolen on Brown kind of concerns me, but I think Goff could have a Stafford day.
Yeah, I like him. So running backs, I think Jamar Gibbs is going to be more involved. I mean, he was so close last week.
God,
He was
he would
very
have
close.
he would have scored if he didn't fall down.
He didn't slip. I know. That's all I'm saying. I mean, if he didn't slip those couple times, we
Hmm.
could be seeing a whole different outlook on Jamar Gibbs. But at 6'3", I love it at 6'3". I know you like Montgomery also.
Love it. Love him.
But if I had to pick one, like I said, it would be Gibbs with the pass
Yeah.
catching ability.
Hmm.
I wouldn't play both though. I'm not playing both in a one lineup together. Um,
Maybe on a showdown you could, but I don't. Not in a regular.
yeah.
Not in that. Yeah, I do. But going to St. Brown, man, like I can see him going off in this game. But let's not forget, man, Tariq Woolen, he's not bad, man. He is not bad. He shut down Van Jefferson. Van Jefferson's not St. Brown, but you've seen guys like Chad Ochocinco talk about Tariq Woolen, Steve Smith talk about Tariq Woolen. He's not bad. So I can see Goff and some of the other lines receivers having a good game because I think the rest of their secondary is not very good.
Marvin Jones Jr. just looked lost out there. Um, I'm not going to him.
Nah.
Josh Reynolds at 3.7 is cheap.
Hell, that's the guy that might. I said last week during the showdown slate, he gets us a couple bombs, he's going to smash his price. And that's what he did. And he's going against another secondary that can do the exact same thing. If Jameson Williams was in the lineup, man, I think he'd go off in this game.
I do like Laporta at tight end. I
I do
put
too.
in him. He saw the targets. The yards
Mm-hmm.
not there, but again, I think this is a great game for him at 3.9.
I do too. I like him a lot too. Whatever his over is on yards, I'd go over.
I like him a ton. Going to Indiana and Houston. Anthony Richardson, he had a decent game. 37 attempts in the passing game. What do you think about him?
I like Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson's one of the rare quarterbacks you can run out there naked. And what I mean by naked, if you're not a DFS user like we are, you don't have to stack him with none of his weapons. You can just throw him out there by himself. He's got the rushing upside. He reminds me of Cam Newton.
Yeah, like I said, I like him. Um, to running backs, Deion Jackson let us both down. I think that he let a lot of people down because I know
God,
people played him at 4.9. It
he is horrible, man.
was bad.
He was bad. He was bad against Jacksonville. It's just they had last year when he had like 28 points. It's just he kept getting thrown the ball because they had no other weapons, and I think he fell in the end zone. He didn't run in there. He fell in there.
Um,
Zach Moss is so much better.
I like Zach Moss a ton if he's healthy. I just need him
Yeah,
to be 100%. Because if he's limited, I'm not really trusting it. But I mean, who else do they have? Jake Funk. I mean,
he's a rookie.
Jake Funk,
I think he's a rookie. No, that's Evan Knoll. That's a rookie.
Evan
My
Knowles.
fault.
Yeah,
Evan Knoll's the rookie.
yeah, Evan Knowles on the IR now with his knee.
I don't. Unless his name's Christian McCaffrey, I'm not trusting the white running back.
Um, tight ends. Grant's
Mm-hmm.
it's cheap.
Yeah, he's there. Like I said, I don't understand why they don't go get better weapons. That's one thing about Indy that frustrates me. Besides Pittman, you really don't have any other good receiver weapons at all.
I do like Pittman at 6'3".
I do too. I do too. The thing that worries me though is I didn't see a whole lot of shots downfield, and he got his touchdown on the screen. That worries me a little bit. So at that price, it's kind of risky for me. But he's not a bad play. You saw what Zay Flowers did to the secondary. Not saying that Pittman can't do the same thing. I'm a little hesitant on him at that price.
I like Josh Downs over Alec Pierce, especially in the slot at 3-4. He saw targets.
Yeah, and this is not as good as a secondary as Jackson is.
Going to Houston. So CJ Stroud 5'2".
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about him, man?
He's okay.
44.
I'm not really prioritizing him over guys like Love or Purdy. But I mean, if you feel confident enough to put him in there, it's not the worst play in the world. It's probably not where I'm going to go.
Mm-hmm.
I like his weapons better than I like him. That's the thing I'll say. Not Damian Pierce, though.
You don't like Damian Pierce at 5'6"?
No.
I think this is a better matchup for him, at least.
I'm not a big Damian Pierce guy. I think he's average at best. I like
Receiver
his receipt.
Nico Collins, I like a 4.8.
Mm-hmm. One thing that worries me about Nico is Mechie's probably coming back, and Tank Dell has been told he's getting more reps. I love Tank Dell at 3,200. You just need him to get 6 points.
Yeah, like I said, that's cheap. Robert Woods looked good last week also. He was just funneled with targets, it seemed like, the whole entire time.
I am a Robert Woods fan. I think he's so good. I think injuries last year and bad quarterback play in Tennessee hurt him last year. But let's not forget when he before last year when he was with the Rams before he got hurt, the dude was killing it. He is a really good player.
Yeah, like I said, I don't mind any of these receivers, Collins,
Mm-hmm.
Woods, Tank Dell.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind throwing Stroud, like I said, with a stack. That's a dart throw. I wouldn't mind that at all.
No, low owned too. I don't think he's going to be very popular. Maybe besides Nico.
Going to a popular game, KC at Jacksonville. Patrick Mahomes 8-3. Great bounce back spot for him, I think. What do you think about him, man?
Love him. I love Patrick Mahomes. He's one of my favorite quarterback plays this week.
Yeah, like I said, I think this is a great bounce back spot at 8-3. He's way too cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at the running backs, Pacheco, McKinnon.
It's sad when 8-3 is cheap.
Yeah. Like
And
so
let's not.
Mahomes, yeah.
I told you before we started, big thing. I am a big narrative guy. He's playing on his birthday. You got to believe the dude's going to want to ball out on his birthday.
Right. I'm not trusting these running backs, especially when I saw CEH seeing first string snaps. I'm
Yeah.
not doing it.
Mm-mm.
Tight ends, Kelsey, if he's healthy, I love going to him. I don't think he's going to sit. But I don't think there's any way he's going to sit again
No, he's got Taylor Swift by his side now. He's going to play.
in the documentary that came out.
Yeah, that was good.
I think he's going to want to play at 7'6". I love him here.
I am not opposed to playing Tony. I know he got
Oh,
so
Lord.
much grief. But let's not forget this dude is really good. He had his horrible game. You know he's going to come out and play better. 4,600 is not bad for a Kadarius Toney,
You're telling me
and no one's going to have him.
You're telling me the man with this picture is good?
Yes, yeah. Look at them shiny, bright teeth.
Like, like I said, maybe a 4.6 as a dart throw. I don't mind it. I'm not going to Rashee Rice though. I think people are going to flock to him after that game. I'm not going to him.
I didn't like him last week, and then he just became one of Mahomes' favorite weapons that night. It's like the Ravens running backs with the Chiefs receivers. It's you don't know whose week it's going to be.
Yeah, like I said, going to Jacksonville though. I mean, I had a lot of this team last week.
Yeah.
Lawrence here at 6'7".
Mm-hmm.
Great game, in my opinion. Even though it was only 18 fantasy points, I think he had a good game personally.
Very popular this week too. It's a good spot, man. Kansas City's defense. They're better now with Chris Jones. Now I don't know if Jones is going to play because he's not. I don't think he's been at camp at all. So you can't believe he's in game shape. He didn't look like he was in game shape when he was sitting in the box last week.
Right.
So I love Travis Etienne.
Yeah, I like him at 6'9".
He's getting the bulk of the work. And you saw what Tane Bixby did when he caught the ball and just let the Colts score by knocking it out of his hand. So you got to think that, all right, this guy is still not, up to speed on NFL rules. So I could see that losing some snaps for Tane Bixby and going to ETN.
I love Calvin Ridley at 7'2".
Mm-hmm.
What a fantastic game.
Yep. I don't hate that one at all, man. The dude's a monster.
I like Zay Jones over Christian Kirk at 4.7.
Mm-hmm.
And then
It's apparent to me Zay Jones is one of the favorite targets of Lawrence, and he's the wide receiver 2 in this offense.
yeah, I like him a ton. What do you think about Evan Ingram at 4.8?
Too inconsistent. I don't trust him. I don't like. I just got like a meh. I don't really. I mean, last week Laporta had an average game against them. Lawrence likes him, but I just don't feel great about it. I don't feel great about him this week.
Going to the Nets game, man. Chicago and Tampa Bay. Chicago, Justin Fields, 7-6. What do you think about him, man?
It's a sneaky one for me. He did say this week he was too conservative with his passing, which makes me think he's going to want to try to throw it a little bit more this week. And you saw what Kirk Cousins did to the Tampa defense, but now let's not get it twisted. I don't think Fields the passer that Kirk Cousins is, but if Fields is saying, "Hey, I got to step it up some," this is the best defense to do it to.
Yeah, I'm not trusting in these running backs either.
No,
I don't know who's going to get the workload.
mm-mm.
I'm kind of fading this entirely.
Yeah, I'm with you.
DJ Moore, 5-5. Let everybody down. What do you think?
Love him. I love him this week.
I like
Love
him
him.
at 5-5. It's way too
Yeah.
cheap.
For a number one wide receiver it's a number one wide receiver with a quarterback says we need to stretch the ball some more. I love DJ Moore this week.
Darnell Mooney at 4-4. I'm actually going to DJ Moore. Claypool, he seems to be just lost on this team. So fade that.
He out there sleepwalking, man.
I mean, it's bad. It's bad.
Do you think he think he's on the roster by the end of the year?
No,
I don't either.
no. I think that's your first round pick list lost now that you traded for.
I agree. I think it's up here too. I don't think he wants to be there.
Neither do I. Cole Kmet, 4-4. Yeah or nay? At least he saw targets. I mean, that's better than last year.
I guess I'm kind of holding pasture against him a little bit because he bit me hard.
He can throw up a 0 this game, and I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest with you.
I mean, they handled Hawkinson all right last week. Hawkinson didn't have a great game, and so the Tampa Bay's linebackers are not that bad. So that's who's going to be covering the tight end. So I'm gonna say a no on Cole Kmet.
Tampa Bay with Baker Mayfield. Is he going to be able to basically cheat his way figuring out this defense like he did with the Vikings? Did you see that at halftime? How he made the calls?
Yeah, I saw that, man. He's so up and down. I can see him having a good game, but the thing is with Baker Mayfield, a good game could be 15, 15 out of 20, 175, a touchdown. That's not what I want from a guy that's 5,100.
If I had to pick somebody on this team, much I think of Rashad White at 5-5.
I agree.
This is his game, I think.
I love this, man. They couldn't stop Aaron Jones at all last week.
I think this is
I will say that Rashad White looked pretty bad last week.
I think this is a great bounce back spot for him.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to be off of him. I'm all the way, like I said, with him.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. What do you think about them two guys?
Don't hate them. They're just not popping off for me. So guys I like better. Yeah, the Bears secondary is just middle of the road, and I could see them having decent games. I think Chicago is going to try to play keep away by running the ball more, with Fields or whatever running back they decide they want to put back there. So they're not bad plays. Just not for me.
Yeah, like I said, how much will they go elsewhere?
Yeah.
Chargers in Tennessee, Justin Herbert, 7,000. What do you think about him, man?
I love him this week. I think the Tennessee Titans pass defense is one of the worst in the league.
I think this is going to be a great game for him.
Yeah, I do too. A lot of they burned them, and I think he would have had a lot more. I think he had about 170 air yards last week.
Yeah, and he got hurt. He went to the medical tent for a minute.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he was hurt for a little bit. Austin Eckler's questionable. Like we talked about before the show. I know the ankle is an issue.
Hmm.
Don't hold the ankle though 100% because he did also leave practice because his agent died. So
Hmm.
out for that for a couple
Yeah.
days. So again, maybe it is the ankle, but again, keep that in mind whenever you see
Yeah.
this questionable tag. That's not just all because of the ankle. So
Yeah. And best believe if he's ruled out, Josh Kelly is going to be the most on running back on the slate. And
talk.
he was he was he was getting a lot of carries last week. He was in a lot of good spots when Eckler left the game last week. So he's warranted. I am just this is just my specific playing style. If a guy's going to be super chalk, I always fade him.
Yeah, like I said, he's going to be one of the most owned running backs in the game at five
It
thousand.
could it could be Kelly and Dylan if Aaron Jones is out too.
Then going to receivers. I like Keenan Allen. I like Mike Williams. I wouldn't mind
Yeah,
getting either one at 7-1 and 5-7. That 5-7 price tag is amazing to me.
yeah. I like Mike Williams and Keenan Allen against this poor secondary for the Titans. That
What do you
still
think?
doesn't have Caleb Fairley back.
What do you think about Quentin Johnson?
I got to see it. I don't think he's getting enough shares. It's going to go to Eckler. It's going to go to Allen Williams, and I think Everett will be in the pecking order above him.
You like Everett? Or you like Parham more?
Everett, don't let that touchdown confuse you. It that's going to happen, man. You're going to have a guy that's on the, you know, you're
Like
going to
Bell?
disguise him. Yeah, it happens, man. The Chiefs do that too. I mean, Blake Bell with touchdowns, even when Kelsey's in there. It
Uh,
happens.
going to Tennessee. Not much I really want from this team, but Ryan Tannehill 5,000. I'm not
No,
really.
no, I think he's going to get benched here in the next couple weeks.
So what worries about this running back is Spears at 4-6 and 7-4. Spears cut into his workload entirely almost. Uh,
Yeah.
that's I mean 54% of the snaps. That worries me a ton for Derrick Henry at 7-4.
It
This the price tag just keeps it's gonna keep dipping and it's gonna make me want to play him. That's the problem.
one thing I did like they were involving him in the screen game, which they do sometimes, but they were trying to make it even more apparent to get him involved in the screen game because for some reason it looks like he's moving so slow when he catches the ball in the screen, but he's running by everybody.
Like I said, this price tag that's gonna dip.
Yeah.
It's gonna make me want to play him.
Let's not forget the Chargers were not very good against the run last year. And I think the Dolphins just threw it around, so you really didn't get to see what their running defense looked like.
DeAndre Hopkins. What about him?
I like DeAndre Hopkins this week. You know, Tyreek Hill can burn the secondary. Hopkins can easily do the same.
I like Hopkins a ton also. Jalen Burks. I mean, he looked good last week. Played a ton of snaps.
I'm not a. I'm not big on Burks. I would probably go somewhere else in that price range.
And then the tight end spot, I'm not really playing Chig. I mean, saw 2 targets. Much like
No, and like I told you before the show, he's projected to be kind of chalky this week for a guy that scored 0 points.
yeah, it's that price tag.
Yeah,
To the Giants. I mean, that was an awful showing. Pretty bad.
you
Daniel Jones
you
6,000.
you you enjoyed it.
I mean, I was fantastic. I mean, I was excited. But Daniel Jones 6,000. Is this a bounce back spot for him, man?
Yeah, I like this spot. I like this spot for Daniel Jones. I thought I'd never say that because I'm not a big Daniel Jones guy, but at this price against this Cardinals defense, I like him in this spot.
Saquon Barkley 8,000 with the fumble. What do you think
Ooh,
about him?
uh,
I mean,
no, you
was
go
it
ahead.
a fumble though? Was it? I mean, I know DraftKings didn't have it, but I mean that was apparent.
Yeah, but I like him this week too. I know he's 8,000, but I'm willing to eat 8,000 for Saquon Barkley against a bad defense.
Tight ends, Darren Waller is questionable. It's that hamstring. Like we kind of talked about before. I mean, he is playing. He already said he is.
Yeah,
I, it just worries me a ton. I mean, I know he was involved with the passing game a ton, but still,
I love him this week. He's probably going to be in about 50% of my lineups.
if I play him this week, he's gonna freaking tear his hamstring. I already know it.
Don't play him then because
I
I'm
mean,
playing him.
I know that's how it's gonna go. If I play him, it's gonna be bad. Receivers, we didn't even get a really
Yeah,
good chance to see the receivers. I mean,
We're good. We ain't gotta go there. But the only one maybe you might want to take a look at if you want a Daniel Jones tag is maybe Paris Campbell.
3-5.
Maybe. Yeah,
I mean, he did see targets.
he did. And that's why the only reason why I say maybe consider him.
What about Hayden or Hyatt?
Oof. No. No. He's gotta prove it to me.
To Arizona we go. So before we even talk about this team, is there anything you want on this team at all? There's not really.
Maybe Zach Ertz. We could say 5 minutes and say maybe Zach Ertz, and that's about it.
I mean, like I said, I'm not really getting to Dobbs.
Mm-mm.
James Carter's already hurt. Um, if he's gonna play 6'2", maybe
Mm-hmm.
I'll take a dart throw. I'm not going to Ingram though if he's hurt. Um,
Mm-mm.
Zach Ertz is okay to me at 3-5. That seemed to be Dobbs' target.
Especially in the red zone. That's why I kind of like him.
I'm not getting a Marquise Brown. How much will I go elsewhere?
Yeah. How long before they put Tune in? Probably another week or two.
Yeah, pretty soon.
I don't know why. I don't know why I just didn't play Tune to begin with.
Are you gonna play Giants defense at all against Arizona?
No, I like the Packers defense better.
Going to San Fran and LA. Brock Purdy, I know you like him. What about
Yep.
him?
I do like Brock Purdy. I think the Rams defense is not very great. Um, that secondary is bad. That secondary is bad. I like him to throw it around a lot. And I think he's going to have one of his. He's just unbelievable, man. I think he's going to have a really good game this week too.
CMC 8-9. I was completely wrong on him last week.
Yeah.
I thought that he basically was gonna see maybe 15 snaps, but apparently he got 22. So or rushing attempts I'm in. But like I said, I thought they were gonna basically slow him down a little bit, but apparently not.
Nah, I like him this week too. He's shown he tears up the Rams.
Yeah, I like him a ton. George Kittle at 5'3". Are you paying that price tag?
Yeah, I pay that price over Kittle. He seems to be wide receiver number one with Purdy in there.
Brandon Ayuk. If you didn't have him in your lineup, you were already gone.
Yep.
So 5'8". What do you think about him, man? Or are you going to Debo?
Uh, if I had to choose, I'd probably go with Ayuk instead of Debo. I think Debo's going to be a little bit chalky this week because of the price and like the recency bias with Ayuk. People think he had a great week last week. They want to go back to him, but that connection with Purdy is there.
Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't mind going to Debo at a different ownership compared to Ayuk because I think, like I said, everybody's going to want Ayuk. It
Yeah.
makes sense. But going to the Rams, Matthew Stafford 5'6". Are you playing him?
No, not this week. I don't like him against this 49er defense. I think he can get some yards on him, but it's not going to be like last week. So at 5'6", I'd rather look somewhere else.
And then Cam Akers and Carvin Williams. The team
Uh,
hates Cam Akers completely. So
no, thank you. Najee Williams. Najee Harris struggled against this defense last week. I don't see them doing anything against them.
I like going back to the well with Tyler Higbee at 4'6". I was on him last week. I don't mind going right back to the well with him.
It's not a bad play.
So this is just a tough test now for this young sport. So Puka, Van Jefferson. What do you think about these three guys, man? I mean,
Um,
defense is way different than what they saw last week.
yeah,
So
yeah. Like I said earlier, Tariq Woolen kind of shut down Van Jefferson, and he was projected to be the number one in this offense. And I still think that's the case. Pittsburgh did struggle last week, but before Deontay Johnson got hurt, he was still getting some yards against them. So I could see Van Jefferson having a pretty decent day because I think they're going to be behind so much. But I think Puka, it kind of reminds me of when Traquan Smith had a big game a couple years ago, and he was really high on for the next couple weeks. I'd have to see that to believe he can do that again. 2-2, I don't see him having a 100-yard game, but I could see him maybe getting like 10 or 12. But I like Van Jefferson out of the three of them.
gotcha. To the Jets in Dallas. No Aaron Rodgers, obviously. We know how this
No.
goes. Zach
Mhm.
Wilson at 4'9". I don't mind it at 4'9".
I see where you're coming from. I just don't know where. Granted, I played Josh Dobbs last week at 4,600. I can't knock you for it. I mean, if you want to put him in there and maybe get some in rushing and him throwing to Garrett Wilson to so you can stack some studs, I don't hate that idea. I actually kind of like it.
Yeah, it's to be different. Like, so I know this Dallas defense, they were amazing against the Giants.
Mhm.
But again, this is Dallas. Being a fan, this can go down real fast. So,
Yeah,
like I said, I mean, the Dallas, they were already basically talking smack about during halftime, saying that we're going to kill this team. Um, I know it's Zach Wilson. I know we've seen this before. We've seen this game script before. But again, it was a bad situation that he was put in. I think Aaron Rodgers has helped him a ton already. I
yeah.
don't think going with him and, like you said, with Garrett Wilson at 7-5.
They're going to be very low owned, man. I don't think no one's going to take a look at them because they figured, it's Zach Wilson. But with Zach Wilson last year, Garrett Wilson put out some pretty good numbers.
I
But
mean, like
this
I
Dallas
said,
defense is pretty good.
we're trying to win a million maker. That's what we're trying to do. So,
Yeah. I mean, you can do that. You can line up Zach Wilson with Garrett Wilson. I don't hate that. And running back with CeeDee Lamb if you want to go with that kind of stack.
what do you think about Brees Hall?
I like Brees Hall. I like him a lot. But the Dallas defense is a lot better than the Buffalo Bill defense.
Hey, Dalvin Cook was washed also. He looked awful.
I hate saying that because I like Dalvin Cook, but you're right. He did not look very good.
Bad. He looked
Well,
slow.
also he ain't been there very long. He might not know the playbook yet.
Yeah. To Dallas. Dak Prescott. Are you liking him at 6'6"?
Not against this Jet defense.
Tony Pollard?
I don't mind Tony Pollard. You saw Cook have some success against him on the ground. I don't hate Tony Pollard right here.
Like I said, I don't mind him at 7'5". Like we saw what Brees Hall was able to do.
Yeah,
So 7'5", I don't mind it. I don't mind going to Jake Ferguson. Yeah, 3-3. He's cheap. Evan
he's
Dark.
really. There's other guys at that price range I think I like more than him.
We didn't get to see the offense. Also, I mean, like I said, I like it. CD Lamb 7-7 against Sauce. What do you think?
You can go there if you want to. Maybe you think you'll have a good game against Sauce. He's. I'm looking at projections. He's not being projected high ownership at all. He's like in the 1%, 2%. So if you think this game is it got a potential to be a shootout and you want to try to win a million maker, that's a stack you can do. I like Lamb in the spot.
If there's no Brandon Cooks, I wouldn't mind going to Gallup at 4-2. He looks healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really getting the Turpin at 3,000, even though he had the TD.
Yeah.
Going to Washington. Sam Howell 5-4. I liked him last week. I don't mind it this week. What do you think?
Not crazy about him this week, especially when you got guys like Love and Purdy in the same price range. Especially against Denver. For some reason, Denver has really no superstar players on their defense besides maybe their safety and Sertan. They could play some defense, man.
Brian Robertson 5-2. He completely outsnapped Antonio Gibson to say the least.
Mm-mm.
5-2.
Not against this defense.
Logan Thomas looked healthy. 3-1. I like it.
Maybe be a dump down option if because I think McLaurin's going to struggle against Pat Sertain.
I do like Dotson though at 4-9.
That's a little sneaky little option.
4-9 is cheap. Way too cheap for Dotson. To Denver we go. Russell Wilson 5-8. What do you think?
It's not a bad little play. Sneaky. I don't think he's going to be very, very high owned. He could put up a decent day.
I mean, we saw what Josh Dobbs did. I mean, like I said, Josh Dobbs scored points.
Okay, let's face one thing. This is Russell Wilson.
That's what I'm saying.
Josh Dobbs.
That's what I'm saying. Like Russell Wilson, I think can do well against
Yeah.
this defense.
I don't disagree with you on that one.
I like Javonte Williams also.
I don't hate that play.
I do like Troutman at 3,000. He's way too cheap. Saw
Mhm.
more snaps than Dulles did.
Mhm.
We know Dulles is not playing. Don't look at that doubtful. He's not playing. Like we
No,
already. I mean, it's kind of apparent.
yeah.
Um, Jared Judy, 6'6", if he's back, he seems to be back. What do you
Mhm.
think about him?
One of Washington's weaknesses in the defense is their secondary. So the Broncos O line can hold up that monstrous pass rush. I could see them having a good game in the air.
Yeah, then Cortland Sutton, 5'4". I don't mind that either. Everybody with the Marvin Mims, we saw how that went. I liked him
Yeah.
last week also. I was completely dead wrong about him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, that's our 12 game slate. You have any last closing thoughts, man, before we get out of here?
No, man. Just I hope me and you will be battling out for the Millie Maker.
I hope so. Last before we go though, defenses. Which defense do you like?
Packers.
Like the Packers?
Mhm.
So typically, like I said, I wouldn't mind just taking a dart throw on any defense, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a lot different week than it was week one.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, I I would throw the Raiders in there for all I care. Like I said, defense doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna go to the Cowboys defense at 4,000. That's gonna be an obvious one. Um, what do you think about the Buccaneers defense at 3-2?
I don't hate it. Um, I don't hate it at all. It's not bad play. It's not a bad play at all.
Yeah, man. Like I said, that's our 12 game slate. Thank you all for tuning in. Thanks for hopping on with me again, man. We're definitely gonna do it again for week 3.
Sounds good. I can't wait.
Alrighty. Well, like I said, this is our 12 game slate. Like I said, before we get out of here, what's your favorite play on the slate? Go.
Um,
Like I said, what's your favorite one?
if I had to choose a favorite one, I am probably going to go. I got a sneaky feeling about Fields, man. I like Fields.
Like Fields?
Yes.
Like I said, I'm gonna play my flag in Jordan Love. I know you like him also. I think that offense is gonna go off. But like I said, that's our 12 game slate. Thank you for tuning in. Hope everybody's a great and safe rest of the night, everybody.
See ya.